Thank you. You please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, before we get going this morning, I want to let everyone know that because the meeting got moved, I had a prior engagement, so I'm gonna have to step out around 6:45, 6:50 for a few minutes. But Julie will continue on. We'll take a quick recess but the meeting will continue. So, but I'm hoping we'll be done or be close to done by then. So we'll see how things go. All right, are there any items too late for the agenda? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to reports. Internal Affairs Committee.
Had to power it on, there we go. Hi, actually, I was just recovering from a surgery during that. I was on the call, but Julie did host, and I know that I will report that we heard another round of the Moreno Cascade URA, and then we also looked at the janitorial and the carpet cleaning vendor selection, that we're both gonna look at both of those tonight. That was it.
All right, thank you. Public Affairs.
We met and Councilwoman Nancy Hingham joined us, and basically our meeting was a discussion about how the city and the library work together and can work together even more and more effectively in the future. It was a really good discussion.
Thank you. Governance.
Thank you.
Governance dynamic, thank you. Trustee comments. I'll say that the last meeting I talked about how awesome the Holly opening was. This time we get to talk about how awesome the UPass opening was. Even with really undesirable weather, we had a really good turnout in the community and was really a lot of excited people to have that as a permanent instructor. So really excited about what that's doing. Anyone else?
I also went to the UPass event, and that was really fun, and it was great to see how much people again love their library and are excited about all the new stuff that's going to be happening there. And also I will take a little minute of personal privilege to say that this is my last board meeting. I've been on the board for 8 years, and it's been a really interesting and varied 8 years as far as all the challenges and things that come up. But I do want to say that I appreciate very much what a wonderful and incredible staff and leadership team that we have at PPLD. I just cannot thank you enough for all that you do and recognize you enough, because you are the ones that make it happen. And you do amazing things with the limitations that the board puts on you. And we know that, so I want you to know that we know that. And I just really thank you. You welcome me into your branches, your departments. I've been to every department, every branch, and it's been a wonderful experience. And I want to say thank you to the rest of the board members, both in past and present, that I've had the privilege of working with. It's been a wonderful thing. And one of the things that I want to take away from this, and hope that other people will too, is that I think at one time or another, I have disagreed with every single person on this board about something. And that's okay. And that's why we can make effective decisions, because there's not groupthink. There's not a lack of trust. There's no worried about what people's agendas are or anything like that. And so if I had anything that I could say to members of the public, it would be that I hope that you can all see that too, that every single person is here because they really care about PPLD and they really care about making it as wonderful as they can. And not everyone's going to agree on the right path for that, but if everybody works together, then we will all get there. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Debbie beat me to it. I was gonna say something, but you said something for yourself, but I do wanna say that it has been a pleasure working with you. And I will be, your voice of reason will be greatly missed on this board. I've learned so much from sitting usually here next to you. And I just think we're gonna be a little less because we won't have you anymore.
Oh, thank you.
All right, I have to also say the same. Thank you so much, Debbie, for your service on the board, and it's been a real privilege working with you as well. I had the privilege of going to the UPass opening with you, and getting to enjoy that day together as well. And I'll certainly miss your face at all the events and all the board meetings, but I'm sure you'll continue to be involved in PPLD in different ways, and we appreciate you deeply.
All right, so I'll say something now.
I have to now then.
So, I will miss working with you, Debbie. We both came on board at the same time along with Mina, who, just worked, volunteered for that one term. And it's sad that you're leaving now and don't have another 2 years to go. But I've always enjoyed your company and your opinion, and yeah, I know for sure I'll definitely miss seeing you and talking to you. And I wish you the very best. So thanks.
Don't make me cry.
Not many people know this, but Debbie taught me how to use the parking thing out back. Every time I park here, I think of Debbie.
Oh.
All right, next up, our business items. We have consent items. We have the minutes from November 19th, the minutes from the December 2nd work session. If there's no objections. All right, hearing none, we'll move on to unfinished business. First is decision item 25-12-1, Moreno and Cascade.
Yeah,
You want to come up on?
sure. Over here.
We got you set up over here this time.
Sorry. Went to the wrong spot. Thank you. Test. Thank you, board. Jariah Walker, Executive Director of the Colorado Springs Urban Renewal Authority. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here today. And I know you've accommodated a lot of meetings on this particular URA over the last few months, so I appreciate that as well. Just a couple introductions. We do have in the audience the developer with Norwood Development, Mr. Jeff Finn, who's over here on my right. We also have the URA board chair, John Olson, in the audience as well. And I think our counsel, David Neville, is somewhere in the audience too. I'm not sure. We do have all those presentations in play. We've already, Jeremiah's got them cleaned up. Happy to go through the project itself or the financial analysis. We have EPS, I believe, online too. But wanted to kind of leave it up to you, sir, on how you wanted us to proceed with that.
Sure, thanks. I don't think a presentation is going to do anything for me.
Okay.
We've seen it a few times already.
Yeah.
I'll just open it up to questions, and if there's something we need to reference, does that work?
Sure, that's
Okay.
fine. Jeff, I'd encourage you to walk up just in case there's a question for you in particular too.
So good.
I have a question just in the structure.
Sure.
So there's a phase one
Yes, ma'am.
that is the hotel, correct? And then there is a phase two, which is workforce housing.
Correct.
Does the TIF that you're asking for cover both phases, or is it only phase one and you will come back and ask for phase two?
The tip covers both phases.
Okay,
Yep, and that'll be something that we put in the development agreement with the developer. But that phase two, when we were talking about when Sarah presented at the internal affairs meeting about having a cap of the TIF for that. And then that phase two attainable housing piece triggers next, but we need that hotel to come online to help fund that. That's the biggest driver.
okay, but it won't be like coming back and say, oh, now we
No,
need,
ma'am.
okay,
No, ma'am.
I just wanted to
Absolutely not.
clarify that.
No, I
Thank you.
appreciate the question.
Okay.
On a somewhat related note, because they're separate phases, could you explain briefly how the TIF is given out to the developer? And so like, they do phase one, but if phase two doesn't happen, do they still get the TIF money from phase one, or do they have to wait for project completion in order for that money to be released?
Yeah, we would cap phase one at that a certain TIF level, and so as how we do it, we have within our development agreement, it's called a Schedule D, and essentially it lists all of the costs that developer is putting forward that were approved, that went through the taxing entity process. So whether that be like an affordable housing component, whether that be infrastructure, those are all approved in advance. And then as the developer does those, we peel those off line item by line item. Within this particular development agreement, as I said before, we're going to cap that TIF on phase one to ensure that the attainability piece gets developed on phase two. So that's ultimately how they'll get it. But they have to show us that it was built first and that it was actually completed before we'll release any increment on it.
Aaron, Scott, do you have any questions?
First off, thank you for responding to
Yes, sir.
questions. I appreciate that. I just have one quick question about the TIF agreements that we've got here. I want to make sure I understand this before, because there's two of them, and we as a board would have to choose one of them to move forward with this. The updated one, or the most recent one that was provided, is we as the governing body would provide you 100% of the TIF or of our mill for that specific area. And then 50% would be given back as an annual fee or a charge to the developer.
Right.
And is that every year for the 25 years?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then, of course, the original agreement was just a 50-50 split, where we would just give you the 50%. And then we would keep the other 50%.
Correct.
Is that right? Okay.
Correct.
I wanted to make sure I understood that.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. All right. That was really.
All right, thanks. And can we designate our portion of the TIF to go just to the phase two development?
Sure.
Thanks. Were there any other questions? Julie, Aaron? All right, seeing none, I'll open it up for other discussion from the board, and I'll entertain a motion for one of the two contracts.
Dry, you know, I hate hotel projects for this. So I will just say that again. And I do hope that, I mean, I know how much work you put into these, and I know that you make sure they follow the rules and that everything that is done is permissible under the statute. I do hope sometime that the state legislature decides to tweak the URA process so that projects that, in my opinion, and they can ask me, are more public good oriented. If this, you know, if this was a housing project or even a grocery store in a place that doesn't have one, you know, I have no problem supporting that. But I just, the idea of using taxpayer money for a luxury hotel is really hard for me to do. Having said that, I know that I don't get to pick the projects, and I know that this one does fall within the scope of what's permitted under the URA. So I will support this project, but I hope that future boards will have some input into whether these kinds of projects get moved forward.
Sure. I get that. I appreciate that comment.
Sure.
Jason, Scott? Oh, okay. You're sitting there with the mic on, so let's ensure. All right, do we have a motion? So just as a reminder, we have two. There's A or B. A, or the top one, is the updated one, which is 100% dedication with the chargeback. And then option B, or the bottom one here, is the original one where it's just at 50%.
Okay, I will move that we approve, the Pikes Peak Library District Board of Trustees approve the original URA for Moreno and Cascade as presented. And can I include in that motion that the funds be designated for phase two? Okay, that's my motion.
Do you have a second?
A second.
All right, any further discussion?
I just asked, did we have anybody sign up to speak about this? From public comment?
Not this agenda.
No.
That I didn't.
Okay.
All right, seeing none, I'll go ahead and ask for we'll do a roll call vote. Start with, Ms. Smythe online,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
I'll say yes.
Ms. English,
Yes.
Ms. Benz,
Yes.
I'm gonna vote no. But it passes, so you get what you need. All right, thank you.
You've worked.
All right, next is the CEO contract addendum. May I have a motion, please?
I'll move that the Pikes Peak Library District Board of Trustees approve the CEO contract addendum as presented.
And I'll just jump in and say that we had this discussion in executive session at the last meeting. The board made a couple changes to it, and I believe the CEO agreed to all of those changes, so I don't believe there's much additional need for conversation at this point, but if I get a second, we can move into discussion.
I'll second.
All right, is there any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any
Aye.
opposed? All right, motion passes unanimously, and we'll move on to our new business. First is item 1, decision 25-12-3, janitorial and carpet cleaning services vendor selection. Mr. Brandon.
Good evening, board. I know you always enjoy seeing me here. I'm bringing before you this evening the decision for the janitorial and carpet cleaning RFP for the library district as a whole. Last time we went out for new contract bids was 2022. As you know, we can do up to 5 years of extensions on contracts as they exist. We did 4 years of extensions on this. And at the end of this last year, or this current year, had the conversation that we have reached a period where we need to expand those janitorial services a little bit. And we wanted to make sure we were getting the best price for the district as a whole at this time. So we did create a new RFP and put that out for bid, or put that out on October 17th. You have the RFP schedule in your packets in front of you, which I can speak to if you would like to. We did have 3 individual organizations and companies show up for that original walkthrough. Only 2 of the RFP bids that we received were deemed to meet all of the guidelines to make them valid bids. Those were evaluated, and we did determine that the current vendor CBM is the best price and service provider based on the RFP guidelines. I know there were some questions at the Internal Affairs Committee, which I missed because I was sick. I apologize for that. I could address those real quick. When we wrote the RFP, one of the changes that we anticipated is the hybrid model going forward. So the RFP and the hours that are written within it are based upon the hybrid hours at those locations going forward. So if the hybrid did not come to fruition at those locations, the serving or the cleaning services and carpet services would still transpire, but they would be at hours outside of what we had already set for the hybrid operation. So we did take that into consideration when we were building the RFP.
Thank you. Board, any other questions? Thank you. May I have a motion, please?
I move that the Pikes Peak Library District Board of Trustees approve the janitorial and carpet cleaning services contract as presented.
Second.
Selecting CBM. I'm
Sorry. Got a second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any? All right, motion carries. Next is decision 25-12-4, and we do have 3 public comments for this agenda item. So I'll call all 3 of you if you'll just come and stand up here, and that way we can get through to the microphone pretty quick. We have Hazel, Athena, and Jade. You'll have 3 minutes, and then Jeremiah's gonna play us some beautiful walk-off music for you. All right, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, board, for having us here today. I mostly just wanted to say that I think y'all are really great. I use the library, I would say about 2 to 3 times every week. Bringing my clients there, I'm going there myself. And it's just the best resource I have around town. We can use it to learn about topics for the day at our day program. We can use you guys as a place to do research, to make crafts, to use our own activities that we're bringing along with us. And the whole time, everything is so accessible. It's all prepared. It's all free of charge. And then on top of all of this, we don't have to be pressured to spend money anywhere along that line. One of my least favorite places to bring my clients is large unnamed bookstore chain. And while there, we can, use all their books, but we can't take them back with us. We can't do that because we don't want to spend money on that book that we're going to use one time, maybe 2 if we're having a really good project. But here we check out a book for like a day or 2, and we use the computer if we want to do some research. We grab a periodical or 2 that isn't going to cost us all of the money in my wallet. And then if I forget to return it when I'm done working for the day, I can just go to the location by my house instead. And I think that's just awesome. Thank you guys so much for providing a wonderful service to Colorado Springs. The whole Pikes Peak area. Y'all are greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Athena?
Hi, I just wanted to thank everyone for giving me the opportunity to speak today. I also want to thank you guys for providing a lot of resources. I also work with clients who have IDD, and they just love it here. I have one client where we have to limit her library days because she loves it so much. Like she comes in, loves taking all the CDs and stuff and checking them out. And I swear she has a whole book bag just full of like CDs, DVDs, and books, along with like your guys' computers, which is awesome. I have so many clients that want to work on their hand dexterity and also learning like reading comprehension skills while they're using the computers. And it's also a really nice life skill. In addition to that, I would also like to thank you guys for having studios. We have a lot of clients who are super into the arts, love to sing, and they do love coming to our studio, your guys' studio, to just express themselves.
Good evening. My name is Jade Stone, and I would like to start by thanking you all for your commitment to our community, and thank you for taking our proposal seriously. As my friends and coworkers have very nicely put it, we use the library a lot, just in our work. As someone who has gone to the library numerous times in the past weeks alone, just through our day program, we are here to advocate for the new position alongside Powers towards the east of our city. This decision is not just about a building, it's about accessibility, continued learning from more areas in our city. Thank you for acknowledging what so many people already know and live. children, families, and every resident in that area deserves the same resources and opportunities, even if they can't drive 20 minutes. I want to thank you for the space that you create, one where we can all feel secure, learn, and grow. Shorter travel times for all parents would be valued, more support for after-school students, a welcoming space for all, including my students. It means community programs, technology access, reaching people who have been underserved for far too long. I can hope that you choose growth. I can hope that you choose inclusivity, and I can hope that you choose to invest in the future of our city. Thank you for listening, and hopefully thank you for giving us a new library.
All right, thank you. All right, board, do I have a motion for decision item 25-12-4?
I move that the Pikes Peak Library District Board of Trustees approve the contract as presented for the purchase of the property located at 3924 Pony Tracks Drive, Colorado Springs, Colorado, 80922, subject to any reasonable revisions requested by the seller and agreed upon by the PPLD Board President and Chief Executive Officer.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Scott. All right, I'm gonna turn it over to Ms. Ladley.
Good evening. So the contract is here in your packet, starting on page 27 on the front section before you get to the budget. The board had asked that there be opportunities presented around the community that kind of fills gaps in library services. I know that the board has entertained many different opportunities all around the county. However, this one tonight is a contract for Pony Tracks. It's located kind of off of Carefree and in that kind of Pearson, Powers, Mark Shuffle area where there had been just some discussion about the fact that we have a library desert there. And so this contract is for purchase of land. As you know, there's no building on that land currently, but it was recommended because it is situated near schools, it's situated near some retail, it's just nicely situated and quite a bit of housing in that part of the community. So the contract is for land, recognizing that we would have to do lots of research on the land to make sure it's suitable for building. And of course, that if you approve this contract for purchase, we do have windows there before closing to pull out if it is determined that that piece of land is not suitable for building a library. I know that there was some discussion and some questions about anything from traffic to retention to future land development. And so you're familiar with all of those things. So it's important to know that this would be entering into this contract in good faith, that if the property is suitable for building on, that we would be pressing forward and then looking at what that looks like in the future. Are there any questions?
What square footage are we looking at? I know we talked previously about needing to have a detention pond on that.
Yeah.
Track. What does that look like as far as footprint?
That's what you mentioned. Oh, okay. So in the brochure for the listing, it shows a draw out of around 15,000 square feet. Our real estate experts who we've been working with said that with the addition to retention pond needs, it probably couldn't be quite that big. So we'd be gearing towards that kind of 10,000 square feet for the property, parking, right? And all of the things that go with the infrastructural needs for the land.
May I add to that also what Heather said, that there are different options when it comes to detention ponds. So also one that can be built underneath if we decide to do a parking garage there. That was another suggestion brought up, but it will be pricey. But also the diligence period that we have there, that we will do the surveys and determine the soil. Also, if it's feasible and reasonable for a building. And then, like I mentioned also in my communications with you, that we will be meeting with the city planning department, even though, as I shared with you, the zoning map and utilities also, it says that can be, the library can be built on that piece of land. Just wanted to add more to that.
Thank you. Board, any questions?
I have a couple of them. first off, when does the 45 days, the inspection period actually begin? Is it tomorrow if we decide to move forward with this, or is there a specific date that it starts, or?
So once the seller has not signed the contract yet, so my understanding is that if we were to sign it first, then when the seller signs, that's when it begins. Correct. If we had brought to you one signed by the seller, then it would start when you sign it. But since that has not yet happened, it will start at that time.
Okay, so the other question I had was the land area there. Within that 45 days, we're inspecting the land, and testing the soil and all that fun stuff, but at the same time, are we also looking at where the utilities currently are and then determining, you know, is there gonna be additional construction that would be required in order to, for example, bring electric over? Because I think that there was a map that showed the electric was across the street from the land, and so I'm curious if, you know, what that cost is gonna look like. Is that what's gonna be also included in that 45 days, or is it just going to be what the results are of the land survey and the testing of the soil?
So yes, we would be researching everything that this board would need to know that it's suitable for building on. So to include any infrastructural pieces that you would need, in addition to, as you mentioned, environmental tests and things like that. So yes, and that way, within that 45 day timeframe, if you decided, no, this is actually not gonna work out for us, you would have all the information you need to make that decision either direction.
So this is okay, I don't know why, okay. So this is a question that I would have for the board here. Based on that answer, it sounds like, one, we would have a vote for whether to approve the contract as it is presented. And then after that 45-day period, whether to move forward with the building or purchasing the actual land based on the results that we get. Is that the way that I'm understanding it?
My understanding is that we would vote to approve the contract today. We would have that 45-day window from whenever the contract is executed. If during that 45 days, something comes up that's makes us uneasy and is problematic for us being able to move forward, we would vote to back out of the contract, but I don't believe we need a second action.
So that second vote would only be to withdraw from the contract.
Correct.
Within that 45-day period. Okay, I just want to make sure that was. Thanks.
Do you have any other? Okay, Ms. Benz?
No, I was just thinking, I mean, just like purchasing a home, you know, you will get the report from the inspector and we'll be in the loop of all that. I mean, you know, and we'll just, if there is anything, stay on top of it to see if we need a special session, I assume, but hopefully we won't need anything like that.
Right. It will be the same, we actually proceeded with previous purchases so that we had different phases, and then thankfully nothing came back that we had to take that action. But again, I will continue correspondence with all of you, and if we need to have another, hopefully not Debbie, we said another. So, yes.
All right, Ms. Smythe, anything?
I have no questions.
All right. I'll just add, this is something we've talked about for a lot of years. I think it's a really strong opportunity to get land as centrally located as this is. It's becoming less and less available. And so I am extremely optimistic that there won't be any problems going through the process. With that, if there's no further questions, I'll go ahead and call for those in favor to say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, the motion carries unanimously. All right, next is decision item 25-12-5, source of funding for the purchase of the Pony Tracks Drive property. Ms. Hagen, I believe that's you.
That's gonna be a fun getting the kids up. Getting the board, we are asking that you use unassigned funds to purchase this land, and that's part of that $2 million that we received last year that we have actually released from being held to provide that funding.
Thank you. Any questions for? All right,
No, I'm pleased with the way the price point's been able to fit within our priorities to get something over here without stretching our abilities too much to look at other opportunities throughout the district. So excited about this.
for sure, and I appreciate the negotiation you guys did to work that down. All right, do I have a motion for 25-12-5?
25-12-4A.
Yes, sorry.
Just double checking. I move that the Pikes Peak Library District Board of Trustees approve the source of the funds in the amount of $936,000 from the unassigned fund balance for the purchase of Pony Track, I believe,
Yes.
Drive property as presented.
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion, board? Hearing none, I'll go and call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. And we'll move on with the 645-12-6, 23-25 strategic plan extension through 2026. Ms. White, do you want to give some color on this one?
Yeah, I'll just introduce it really briefly. As we talked about during our work session on the 2nd, we were trying to decide how to move forward with the strategic plan since it does sunset at the end of this year. So we did make some very minor changes to language going into 2026, but just to extend it for a year with those minor changes while we take some time during the next year to do additional research to update it more thoroughly and extend it potentially for a longer period at the end of 2026.
All right, thank you. Board, do I have a motion for decision item 25-12-6?
I move that the Pikes Peak Library District Board of Trustees approve the 2023-2026 strategic plan extension as presented.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. Board, any discussion? We did have quite a bit of discussion about this during the committee meetings. The changes that I saw reflect in the board packet tracked with everything that I remembered from what we had discussed. So I was good with changes. Any other comments? All right, hearing none, I'll go and call for a vote. Those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We'll move on to 25-12-7, the 2026 original adopted budget resolution. Ms. Hodgman.
Big thumbs up, so we're gonna keep going. Good evening, board. Thank you for having me here this evening. I am here to present the 2026 budget for your approval. We did use a new software this year to provide this budget book. If you're cleared up and we love it. I want to thank the communications team and the team of strategy and innovation for their help with putting together the information and reviewing the many drafts that we have. I say many. And then finally, I want to mention one person from my own staff, Lindsay Sosa, who put this together completely. It could not have been possible without her help. So I just wanted to put that little personal shout out for it. The budget book is 138 pages of information about the financials, but also the departments that make up the district as a whole. And it will be behind you as well. So what you're seeing here is the projected revenues for district-wide for 2026. This is located on page 80 of the packet or page 29 of the budget book if you're following along online. The entire budget is for $43,411,296. It's made up primarily of property tax revenue of $37,832,865. Specific ownership taxes of $3,300,000 and operating revenue
of $2,278,431. It is a moderate growth of about 4% that is tied to the increased value in property taxes and grants that we are known. I do want to mention that property tax will continue to be a main driver of the revenue for the district. Next, the total expenditures, which is located on page 82 and 83 of your board packet, or page 31 and 32 on the budget book if you're following along online. It is projected to rise steadily in line with our inflation and salary growth. The total amount would be $45,394,942. The largest driver of those costs is employee benefits and salaries at 64%, followed by operating costs of about 33% and capital at 3%. Any questions on just the overview section? Seeing none, I'll continue. Next up, we're going to look at the fund balance projection, which is located on page 84 and 85 of the packet, or page 33 and 34 of the budget book. I want to mention that this is projected. It will change between now and the end of the year. And again, before we get through the audit, that is my life, it changes. But this is our best guess spread at the moment as to where we're going to end the year. So restricted general fund, that's, remember, your TABOR reserves and the grants funding that is restricted. We're looking at a decrease of $67,654. A general fund decreased of a sign of $32,303. Remember, that's the purchase orders that we carry over into the new year. The committed general fund decrease of $715,932, which is the release of the final payment for the Manitou Springs Library lease that is now being housed in prepaids and will be there for the next 30 plus years. Thank you, Erin. And just take on sorry. And then finally, the unassigned general fund decrease of $5,977,745, which is made up primarily of the two purchases for the Ruth Holly, the UPass, and the potential land purchase that you just voted on, plus the $3,977,745 that were for the capital funds that we asked for in the beginning of 2025. Then finally, oh, not done yet.
Oh, right.
All right, Jeremiah. Projected impacts for the capital funds is currently sitting at negative $2,426,904. And then self-insurance is projected to end at negative $297,367. So overall at impact of 2.4 million loss. Any questions on that piece? I know it's a lot of numbers. Okay, moving along to the general fund, which can be found on page 88 of the budget for the packet and 37 of the budget book online. This is the general fund. This is our biggest fund. This is where all of our operating costs come out of. The total revenue for the year will be $40,235,196. It's made up primarily of property taxes and specific ownership taxes, which make up 95% of the funding, for a total of $38,380,765. And the final operating revenues of $1.8 million, which is made up of interest revenues, donations from the foundation and the Friends, grants, and miscellaneous revenues like fines and fees. The general fund expenditures, which is located on page 90 of the board packet or 39 of the budget book online. The total the total cost is $40,235,196. The top four costs for the district in the general fund are the employees' salaries and benefits at $26,589,886, which makes up 66% of that budget. Collection management followed closely behind with $5,262,905. A lot of numbers. 13% of the budget, and then you have building, vehicle, and maintenance at $2.6 million, or 6.6% of the budget, followed by data and software at $2.6 million for 6.5% of the budget. The other operating costs of $3 million include small increases across the board for contract services, supplies, mileage, and programming.
Moving on to the capital funds, which are located on page 91 through 93, or page 40 through 42 of the budget book. We are putting in revenues of $276,609 from property taxes, and that money will be set aside to help with the hybrid model conversions. The expenditures total is $1,323,666, which is broken out into several projects, mostly at 21C for building improvements that are related to the facilities master plan, $44,200 in purchases like sewing machines, laser cutters, or 3D printers for strategy and innovation, $633,000 in security upgrades to buildings across the district for the hybrid models, $493,000 in information technology for new equipment and upgrade programs. And then we're asking for $12,500 in contingency for anything else that may come up really small. And then finally, our other large fund that we will talk about is the self-insurance fund, which is found on page 94 through 96, or 43 and 40 through 45 on the budget book. We have revenues of $2,899,491, which is made up primarily of property tax at $2.4 million and employee contributions of $424,000. Expenses are coming in at $3,836,080. That is made primarily of salary and benefits, which is mostly just the benefit pieces. Those are the claims of $2.4 million. Contract services of the $1.355 million. And then we will use funds from the fund balance to help offset the costs. And we were able to keep the cost for the employees the same in 2026 as it was in 2025. Okay, and finally, my last piece for you to look at. If you get a chance to please read the rest of it. It is a wonderful book that has a lot of information. At page 97 through 98 and page 46 to 47 on the budget book is a total projected full-time equivalent or staff authorized positions. And we are asking for 439 positions. We did add 14 positions total to the authorized positions, but we also looked at current positions that were either not filled or were vacant to see if we could use those to help provide more staffing in other areas. So some positions from public services, thank you very much, Tammy, were taken to help with security and with IT positions. Facilities. And facilities, yes, thank you. And that would be all I have for the budget. Any questions that I can answer?
So on this authorized positions, I'm assuming there is overlap between public services and administration, because otherwise we're nearly 500 employees.
Yes.
Right. Just wanted to call that out.
I mean, we'll take it down. Right? The same.
And we also increased security positions as part of this, correct? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, that is correct.
Yes, that's correct. Also, we increased positions in the security operating center. That's the right term, right? At East Library that will assist us with our hybrid modules as well. And facility, that department, they've been understaffed for years. And also, as you know, there are a lot of projects, capital projects. So Heather and I trying to make sure that Michael is well taken care of, but I don't know. So that's what's happening. That's why mostly you see support services, because IT, facilities, and security, they've been understaffed for years. And another, I want to thank her last name is not Goodwin anymore, and I forgot her last name. Peru, yes. Since we implemented that automated handling machine at East Library, it also helped with staffing. So actually she gave some of the positions from public services to support services as well. It's been a lot of work between different departments, branches, support services to ensure that we have enough staffing in security facilities and IT. since we are asking them to do quite a bit.
Speaking of facilities, I'm gonna give a shout out to making sure the plumbing was fixed for today, so thank you for the work you guys did there.
Yeah.
Board, any questions on the budget? Good macro question there.
This also will be will be online, it's live, right, for public to look at this budget and interact with that as well. So actually it's very cool. I would invite you to do it when it's live. And today also, I believe it's on their website, our budget story in a video format as well.
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
So looking through here, I am curious about all the mileage. Have we done a study on the mileage from the various departments to determine would it be cheaper to have vehicles available for like a carpool or not a carpool, is it, but a fleet of vehicles, obviously for the library, so that if employees can check those out as part of, you know, instead of charging all of the mileage, because I've noticed that seems to be a pretty large number in various departments.
That's a very good question. Yes, actually, Scott, last year, Strategy and Innovation, they did they analyzed data for security department because that's what we started with, that we saw their mileage, and that's why we purchased vehicles last year, or this year, right? Last year we purchased. So, and I believe that it helped us quite a bit. Next step will be also to ensure that our IT crew, IT staff, they also utilize those vehicles as well. That's the plan for next year, and also looking possibly to purchase more vehicles. But for that, we do need to have a storage area or just kind of garage type. Michael has a plan and big dreams how we can make it happen. He even needed the budget request this year, and I said no, because it would it was quite expensive and in order to provide, but he keeps asking for that. But that's an actual plan to move towards that, to have more vehicles and to use our vehicles instead of driving around and charging mileage. Yes.
And I'm sorry, you said that was more IT that is using it right now.
Travels a lot and they use their vehicles, so we will be encouraging them to use our current vehicles, and also we will be purchasing more vehicles for the future. Also, when it looks at some of the programming staff or like we do travel a lot, but that's the ultimate plan. But we do need to make sure that we have space for all the vehicles as well. So that's why it falls on Michael. He did not do a good justification. No. So we are thinking about for next year.
And then Scott, I also want to mention part of that mileage. It's not just mileage, it's also training and travel and memberships. So it kind of combines all of those into the same. So it's not all just mileage.
So it's not just car mileage,
No.
it's also flights and.
Flights, travel, training, programs, memberships, those kind of items.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say, if we buy some of those old tiny Geek Squad cars off of Best Buy, it would take a lot of space to stash them, so. Mr. Taylor, do you have other questions to get us back on track?
I don't have any other questions.
All right, board, any other questions? Ms. Mike?
I do not at this time.
All right, at this time, I will entertain a motion for decision item 25-12-7.
Let's see. I move that the Pikes Peak Library District Board of Trustees approve the 2026 original adopted budget and resolution as presented.
I second.
All right, thank you. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll go and call for a vote. Those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We'll now move on to decision item 25-12-8, 2026 resolution to set mill levies. Ms. Hodges.
All right, this one is just to allocate the levy, the mill levy that we have requested, which is 3.102 mill levies. Plus 0.21 mils for an abatement minus the temporary tax credit adjustment of 0.185 mils. And that, I'll stop right there. That is the Tabor refund that we are returning to the taxpayers for the $2.3 million that was due into the excess 2024 revenues the district received. That's due to the passage of Senate Bill 22-238 and Senate Bill 23B-001, are passed in 22 and 2023, which would bring our total mills of 2.938. This is the easiest way for the district to refund these dollars to the taxpayers, and it just means that we are collecting less property tax in 2026.
All right, thank you. And just pointing out that it is a temporary tax credit, so we don't have to go back and try to reassess that or impose that for the following. Any questions, board? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for decision item 25-12-8.
Your turn.
I was gonna say, if you want to do it, you should go last.
That's okay.
Let's see, I'll move that the Pikes Peak Library District Board of Trustees approve the 2026 resolution to set mill levies as presented.
Second.
All right, any other discussion, board? All right, hearing none, I will go and take a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Last item is decision 25-12-9, 2026 contract and vendor resolution. Ms. Hoggett.
Popular tonight. Thank you, board. This is just to approve the contracts for 2026 that are over the $100,000 value. We are asking for it early in December so that our friends in collection management can get right on ordering physical materials on January 2nd or 3rd or 4th. No pressure. I'm just doing that just to kind of get ahead of the curve and also to open up the spending for the district.
Thanks. And just for those of you who are tuning in online, this is a standard thing that we have to do every year, that we have policy that says that the district must seek approval for any purchases or contracts over $100,000. And so these are standard things that we approve every year that we know the cost is going to be over $100,000. It's allocated in the budget. We've already approved the budget to accommodate these costs. And so this is more or less compliance with policy. All right. Any questions, board?
The only thing I want to say is that this does include rent for both Monument as well as Cheyenne Mountain Library. So just wanted to look that up.
Thank you. All right, any other questions? Hearing none, I will go ahead and entertain a motion for decision item 25-12-9.
I move that the Pikes Peak Library District Board of Trustees approve the contract and vendor resolution as presented.
I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion, board? Okay, hearing none, I will go and call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries. That finishes all of our new business. That moves us into our public comment session. Mr. Banker, take it away.
Okay, we have 4 folks that signed up in person, and we'll have 1 online as well. We'll do the 4 in person first, and I'll just announce you all at once, and then we'll get to our online. You have 3 minutes and there will be a clock on the screen. And please, when you get to the microphone, say your name and your zip code. So I'll just announce all four at once to save us time. Anita Stuckey, Linda, I believe it's Shettle or something. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing it. Schindler? Okay, I'm sorry. The Y in Stuckey came down and was messing with your name. Jimmy Sue Guggenheim?
I signed you.
I'm sorry?
She signed me.
You don't want to speak?
No.
Okay. And so Jeff Thorne will be our third. Anita Stuckey, Linda Schindler, and Jeff Thorne will speak in person, and then we'll have one online commenter.
Thank you, Jeremiah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak. My name is, yes, I'm short, and I'll be brief. So again, I want to talk about the Cheyenne Mountain Library and how critical it is for our area. I wasn't clear. I heard something about the lease payments for Cheyenne Mountain. For how long? It's an unknown. Is it going to continue? Do we need to look for space? I'm not an uneducated person, and I'm unable to find out how to attend the committee meetings of the board. So I'm obviously not searching correctly. So any guidance you could give would be so appreciated. I would also offer to assist in whatever we could do to continue the Cheyenne Mountain Library. Happy to serve on any committee that will work with you. I am a mediator by training, so happy to find solutions that work for everybody. And just really want to say again, it's a mixed neighborhood, and it is vital for people to be able to walk to this library to get the services for education, for job opportunities, for childhood engagement, and for senior engagement. So anything I could offer or any information you could give, I would just love to be able to navigate the website. It's a challenge. So thank you for the opportunity. And if somebody would like to speak to clarify, am I wasting my time? If you're just going to continue the lease for the Cheyenne Mountain Library, is it going to stay there? Is it going to relocate? What is the plan? We would love to know. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I'm Linda Schedler, and I'm a supporter of the Cheyenne Mountain branch of the library. Like Anita, we are concerned about the lease. We understand it was a 1-year lease and we have less than a year to go on that. So we're not sure, do we need to be looking for a new space? Would you like some input? I would be glad to serve on any kind of committee because we do serve a diverse population. Many people come in there, especially to use the computers. They don't have access to that. So I just like to say my support for the library and certainly somebody who's had the use of it for the last 25 years. So thanks very much.
Good evening, board. My name is Jeff Thorne, 80905. And I would like to congratulate you on the Pony Tracks Drive purchase and moving forward with that. I think that's a good resource for that area. Similarly, the Cheyenne Mountain, which is the Cheyenne Mountain branch, which is my concern, because of the short lease and what's happened with Rock Rim and recently, it seems as though we don't know, and it's difficult for us to find out what the future plans are for that branch. It's a vital component of the area. It's located near apartment buildings, it's located near schools, it's located near retail, parking convenience, and near bus stops. So we're hoping to keep that open and vital and continue to serve the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeremiah?
And our lone online commenter is Veronica Baker. Veronica, you should be able to unmute now and give your comments.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Did you know that the last time PPLD went to the ballot for a funding initiative was in 2003? That was almost 22 years ago. In that time, Colorado Springs has grown dramatically, and the needs of our communities have grown along with it. PPLD is now one of the few library districts in Colorado that has not detabered. Even though voters approved a mill levy increase in 1986, we are no longer receiving the full amount intended for the library district. Instead of having $50 million available, we have only about 40 million. And while 40 million is a large number, it is increasingly insufficient for a district of our size, scope, and population. I understand there is a desire to own PPLD buildings, so the district has more control over renovations and upgrades. But purchasing buildings, especially in areas where libraries are most needed, costs millions of dollars. You all know this as you just approved purchasing 2 library buildings in August. So we need to start having serious discussions about what sustainable funding looks like moving forward. Last summer, an informal survey conducted outside of PPLD was presented during the Public Affairs Committee meeting. It asked people whether they would support a detabering measure. Many respondents reacted positively, and importantly, PPLD didn't pay anything for this information, even though gathering data is usually the first step the library district pursues when evaluating a ballot initiative. Despite public support in that survey, some trustees responded negatively to the idea of detabering. I would like to understand why. At the last board meeting, we talked about surveys and patron feedback and how this helps inform important decisions. So I want to ask, isn't it time for PPLD to directly ask its patrons how they feel about detabering? Please stop making assumptions about what you think patrons want or don't want without doing the work of actually asking them. That is not how leaders work with communities. Our district is poised for significant growth. We've heard repeated discussions about needs across the system. Monuments libraries needing more space, High Plains needing expansion, the longstanding desire to bring back a library to the Northwest, and the fact that the East Side has been wanting libraries for years. All of these priorities require resources, planning, and community support, and none of that will happen without honest conversations about funding. I would really like to see the board begin that conversation openly, transparently, and with the community involved every step of the way. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, board, that is the end of the agenda. Are there any additional items or topics that need to be discussed? All right, with that, Miss English, fairly well.
Thank you.
And hope everyone has a Merry Christmas. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.